January 18th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 145 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Just can't shake this. You can hear it in my voice. Yep. It's like all month long.
Still sick.
Anyway, we'll get through this.
Maybe you should stay home all weekend.
Yeah?
Not go out, just sleep.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I've got stuff to do. I'm busy. Jeez.
Just stay home.
You've heard about the flu in the news. Everybody has, and it's hit California real hard. And I think I had the flu and then immediately got a cold.
Right.
And so that's why I'm still kind of struggling with it. So, well, the other night I posted a picture to Twitter. I wanted to basically show everyone how generous you are, Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
At the table, generous to the dealers.
To the dealers.
And I posted a picture of a big stack of chips that it was basically tips for the dealer. And people kind of wanted to know the story behind it, and I thought we'd talk about that a little bit. The week before, we had been playing, and when you make a bet for the dealers on the table, especially on the craps table, when it wins, sometimes they will immediately just take the chips and drop it into their tip box.
Right. Usually they do.
Usually. Other times they'll leave it on the table and put an off button on it to indicate that it's tips. Usually because they're anticipating another win. Maybe there are several bets out there for them on the table, and they're hoping to maybe accumulate some of these chips and convert them to higher denominational chips. And, once it gets to a certain point, then they'll drop the chips into the tip box.
Right.
So this week before, the stack started to get a high, and you said something to the effect of, don't drop it until the stack is as high as the table.
Right.
In other words, it goes above the edge of the table, right? So that kind of became a fun thing for us. And the week before was mostly red chips, I think, and they dropped it. So then the following week we're out there playing, and you said the same thing. All right, we're not going to drop it until it gets to the top of the table. And we were winning quite a bit at the beginning, and you were making bets for the dealers, like hardway bets and horn bets.
Right.
And so it started to accumulate quite quickly, and they were converting it to green chips.
Right.
So it got pretty high.
It got above the table
It got above the table at least twice.
Yeah.
And it was mostly green chips. How much do you think they dropped that night?
Well, they figured out about 3,500.
3,500, yeah, just from tips, basically bets that you had made.
Right.
Because as things were going good, it was not just hardway bets and horn bets, but you were making pass line bets for them, and, it was going that well.
Yeah.
So
I was just putting $10 on the line with full odds.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, if a point's 9, they got 10 and 40. Mm-hmm. So it pays 60 and 10, 70.
Yes.
So they get the $60 and the 70, $130.
Right, because they don't just win the winnings, they also win the initial bet that you made there. Right. So you're putting quite a bit out there. Now, unfortunately, everybody saw these pictures, and they were saying, "Oh my gosh, we've got to hear about this night. You guys must have cleaned up. It must have been like huge."
No.
Was it?
No, not at all.
The thing was, it was just so good at the beginning.
The dealers cleaned up.
Oh, the dealers did clean up. It was so good at the beginning. They got these big stacks and everything was winning, and then it just got so cold, and suddenly they weren't winning these bets. Right. And the tips weren't coming in anymore.
Right.
And we had losing nights, so it's it's terrible. It kind of makes me sick.
The dealers got 3,500. We got negative.
I know, it makes me sick because honestly, people on Twitter were saying, "Oh my gosh, this must be! I can hardly wait to hear about this great win that you guys had. Look how much Dr. Mike tipped the dealers." And he tipped a lot, but anyway, so
they deserve it. They're working.
Yeah, and it's a great crew, and they certainly
they're working to make
it.
us happy.
Yeah, they are, and they certainly want us to win. They certainly want you to win.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go very
They're
well.
nice people too, you know. So at the time I was winning.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I was more than happy to tip them.
Yeah.
Turned out in the long run I didn't win, but that's just the way that goes.
At one point, one of the pit bosses, we won't mention who they are, but one of the pit bosses was very concerned that it was getting so tall, and they said, "Just go ahead and drop that right now." And you called him over and no, I want to go all the way to the top. This pit boss is a little...
This pit boss is particularly
uptight.
Stickler for details.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing.
Stickler for details, uptight.
There is some validity to it. Like if it got knocked down, it could have gotten, mixed up with other chips. Oh,
I suppose.
In fact, remember on a dealer's change, a new dealer came over, saw the big stack there, and figured, oh, that's just part of the bank. And
because it was all green.
Yeah,
thought they just stacked up a bunch of
started
green.
Just stacking up and putting it back into the bank. It's like, wait.
Thank God I noticed it right when he did. I'm like, no. That's your tips.
Yeah. Dr. Mike, on my behalf, I want to thank you for being so generous at the table. I wanted everybody to know that that's the case. Hey, let's talk about a relatively new carnival game. A while back, we got an email from listener Matthew, and he had mentioned that one of his favorite carnival games is Criss Poker. Not to be confused with Criss Poker that we talked about on a previous episode.
We play in
a home game, right?
Yeah.
This is actually a table game at a casino. So we thought we'd talk about this a little bit. Like a lot of table games, it's not a poker game where you're playing against the other players at the table. You're actually playing against the dealer. So here's how it works. Before any cards are dealt, each player has to make 2 bets, an ante-across bet and an ante-down bet. And they have to be equal amounts. Okay. So, $5 on each, $10 on each. And then the cards are dealt out. Each player gets 2 cards, basically like 2 whole cards. And then the dealer puts 5 community cards out on the table in the form of a cross, in the shape of a cross.
Yeah.
So there's
3 vertical, 3 horizontal.
Yeah, with the one in the middle being common to both. Right. So basically what you're doing is you're making 2 bets beforehand, ante-across, ante-down. You're betting on those 2 5-card poker hands that comprise your 2 whole cards and the 3 cards going across.
Right.
And the other hand is your 2 whole cards and the 3 cards going down. Again, with the center card being common.
Right.
So after you look at your cards as a player, you have the option of making an across bet that is equal to or 3 times the ante across. So if you had $5 on the ante across, you looked at your cards, you think, oh, they're good. You could bet $5 on the across bet or $15 on the across bet if it was really good. Okay.
If it's really good. I don't know what's really good.
Yeah, well, here's and maybe I should have said this to first. You will get paid if you have a pair of jacks or better.
Okay.
So
if you've got a pair of jacks,
then you're guaranteed to at least win
3 times as much.
Right.
Even if you had 1 jack, you might want to.
Yeah, and we'll talk about basic strategy that Wizard of Odds has come up with in a little bit. But anyway, that's your option at that point. After you've either folded or made the across bet, the dealer exposes the 2 outside cards in the cross, not the center card, but just the 2, that are across from each other.
Right.
At that point, then, you have the option of making a down bet.
Same scenario.
Same kind of thing, right? You can bet equal to the down ante or 3 times the down ante bet.
Or you can just fold the down.
Or you just fold, period.
Yeah.
Right. Everything, you're folding, you're out, right? That's the other option.
So can you play one? Like, can you stay in for the cross with an equal bet and then fold your down bet?
No. If you fold everything.
Okay.
So typically, if you're making that a cross bet,
you better make the down bet.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably making the down bet as well. Okay. So once you either fold or make the down bet, then the dealer reveals the 2 cards in the down direction,
right?
Just on the outside
cards, right?
At that point, now you've seen that many cards, you have the option to make a middle bet. Again, also either equal to your ante bet or 3 times your ante bet, or you can fold. So maybe at that point you fold when really nothing panned out. You see all the cards and it's like, well, no matter what the middle card is, I'm not going to make a hand in either direction, across or down.
All right.
So that might be a case where you would fold.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't, you make this middle bet, then finally the dealer exposes the middle card, and if you have a pair of jacks or better, you win. So if
either direction.
In either direction, right. Or in both directions. But they look at each one. They look at the across hand. Right. So those 3 cards plus your 2 down cards. If you have jacks or better, you win. And same with the down direction.
Okay.
Now, if it's jacks, queens, kings, or aces, you just win even money. And then if your hand is better, you get paid at odds. And I'm not going to go through the whole pay table, although the pay table is fairly similar to like a jacks or better video poker machine.
Okay.
Except a little bit better because you're not just getting your money back when you have a pair of jacks. You're actually getting 1-to-1, right? So you're actually making some money on it. And that's basically the whole game. Again, I won't go through the pay tables, but I'll put a link to the Wizard of Odds page where you can see everything. And his basic strategy is if the highest of your 2 down cards is 5 or lower, just fold before you see any cards. That's the really bad extreme. The good extreme, if you have Queen Jack suited or better, or a pair, any pair, then do the 3 times bet.
Queen Jack suited.
Or better. So Ace King suited, Ace Jack suited, that thing. Or any pair. Bet the 3 times.
But if you have Queen Jack non-suited.
Well, here, those are the 2 extremes. If your highest card is 5 or lower, fold. If you have Queen Jack suited or better or a pair 3 times. Everything else, just 1 time. The ante bet. So everything else, just 1 time.
So if you had Queen Jack off suit, you just 1 times.
Right. Yeah, and, you may be in a situation where, let's say you did 1 time, and then you see the 2 across cards, and it's like, oh, wow, I made 3 of a kind just like that. Well, obviously, when the middle bet comes around, then you're going to bet that at 3 times.
Right.
So that, because now you've got a winning hand. So that's basically it. It's a pretty straightforward game. I hope we explained it well enough. I know you're familiar with Crisscross and the way that it looks on the board, but anyway.
It'd be great if the middle card was wild.
Oh my gosh, that's the way we play it. And of course, it's crazy because everybody ends up with 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind. So.
Yeah, well, the pay tables just change.
That's right.
So, what's the house edge on this?
The house edge is a little over 4%, but that, of course, depends on how you actually play. So if you're playing a perfect basic strategy, then it'll be a little bit over 4%. So it's not that great, as far as games go.
Like, it might be like a carnival games are.
Yes, that's right. So anyway, I don't know of any place in Las Vegas that is currently dealing it, but there are some casinos around the country that that
there's none here in San Diego
not that I
we
know of.
of.
Not that I know of. So
it'd be a fun game to play.
Yeah, I mean, certainly just, once or twice. And like you said, if you have a pair of jacks or better dealt to you, well, you're guaranteed to win, and it can only get better from there. So, it would be
I'm surprised that it's not dealt more, because it seems to me like there's enough confusion in that game that the casino would rake it in.
I agree with you. It's the kind of thing where there is enough confusion, but it's not like the players get terribly confused. Oh, okay, there's my hand, there's my hand. So it's the perfect balance of confusion.
It's what the casino's looking for, the perfect balance of, entropy.
That's right. But anyway, if we ever see it, we'll definitely give it a spin just to see what it's like.
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link toward the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. So on our last episode, we were talking about what happens when you leave the table, particularly a craps table where the action continues when you're away. Right. Can you leave your bets up? Do you take them down? Do they have to be off? Can you have a proxy, be there for... So we've got a call from Marty about that.
Mark and Dr. Mike, hey, it's Marty from Northern California. Just listening to last week's show. I loved it, guys. First of all, go Vikings. I'm in Northern California, originally from Minneapolis. I will be there for the Super Bowl. I am excited. Hey, you had a comment last week about covering up your chips when you happen to go away from the table to go to the men's room or something. I do this all the time. I play a lot at all the Harrah's properties in Vegas, primarily Cromwell, Caesars, Paris, and Planet Hollywood. And I just ask them, I say, hey, can I get the cover? I cover up the chips, and they say, what do you want to do with your bets? And I just say, keep me up everywhere. The other nice thing that they will do is if I say, hey, I want to come back on the fire, if I'm gone, just take the money out and put me back on the fire. Now it's put me back on the all, tall, small. They'll also do that. So what I'll do in that case is I'll just set $15 down kind of way behind the line up next to the rail, and they'll just go ahead and bet that for me. So, I think they do that. It's pretty standard in Las Vegas. A few of the places will say, no, we have to take your bets down if they hit. But I know at least at the Caesars properties there, Center Strip, no problem keeping you up. I do it all the time. So thanks. See you later. Love the show, guys.
Good. Yeah, that is good. Well, it's
I've never even done that.
No.
I've kept bets up, but I've never said, oh, put a fire bet up for me.
If there's a 7 out while I'm away.
I want to try that at Harrah's, Southern California, and see if they'll do that.
I bet they will not, because
they won't.
When we have walked away from the table, they have said, oh, your bets have to be off.
And they make a point of saying, oh, make your fire bet before you leave. So they're not going to do it themselves.
Right. You actually have to be the one to make the fire bet. You can make the fire bet and leave. That is one bet that will stay up when you're away. away.
Right.
But, not the other bets. And I don't think they would make a fire bet for you if you were away.
A few weeks ago, I don't know if you remember this, we were getting ready to leave and you were going to go play your free play and you made a fire bet and then left.
Yeah.
Because I said, make a fire bet. And you left and you were playing your free play. And it was a pretty decent roll. Remember, I stayed for like 2 more shooters. And it was a pretty decent roll. And I thought, he's going to win this fire bet. And he's, nowhere near here and has no plans to come back.
That's right. I was done.
Yeah. So you weren't going to come back. I was thinking, I wonder what they're going to do if that wins.
Well, they probably me down.
Yeah, well, they'd hold it and they'd tell me to go get you. That's what they do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, Marty, I've circumvented this whole problem. I just never pee.
Oh, boy, you know what? Marty, as he's saying it, I'm thinking it's true. I'll take a bathroom break, 2 or 3 times during the night. He never goes.
I never go. I have a huge bladder.
Yeah, all right.
Seriously, I go when we start, and then it's like when I get home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I go.
Boy, every episode we learn more about Dr. Mike, don't we?
Yeah, and his bodily functions. Yeah. We need to play with Marty. I mean, that should be a priority.
I agree, yeah.
Because he plays a lot of craps.
A lot of craps and a lot of the Caesars properties in Vegas.
We haven't played with him.
Yeah, all right.
And he's a Vikings fan, so
Oh, there you go.
He's great.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, that game and everything. So, yeah. All right. Next up is Wally.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Wally from Phoenix. Just getting going here on day 2 of a quick Vegas trip, and I wanted to pass along some stuff that I came across on day 1. Thought you guys might find interesting. First thing, I'm staying at the Link. Got there early Saturday morning, so my early morning crap session, I noticed they had a new bet on the table. It's a over-under 7 bet. It's an even money bet in one roll. If it's under 7, you win if you bet that. If it's over 7, you win if you bet that. 7 is a loss on all of them. Unfortunately, I don't think it's long for the tables because I didn't see it played at all, and I saw it at 2 different tables throughout Vegas, and the dealers I talked to said they've seen almost no action on it. And it's kind of a trial thing, so while it's a fun idea, I don't think it's going to get a lot of play. Also went down to the Westgate, and Dr. Michael, like this, they have the fire bet. It was a $5 table, which was pleasantly surprising. It was about an hour before kickoff of the first NFL playoff game, and they were spreading a $5 table. Unfortunately, the dealers there weren't the best, but it was good to see the fire bet still has a little bit of life, whether it's on life support or not. I'd like to thank you guys for the recommendation of the Cromwell. If I had a choice to play every day, that would be it. It was just so much fun. The dealers were great. The players were great. Got to sit back and kind of watch a lot of money get thrown around at my table while I play my conservative game, but it was a lot of fun, and I thank you guys for that. And the last thing, I also had a lot of fun at El Cortez. Had a really good roll there. Made myself and some others a good chunk of change. Dealers were great. Fun locals atmosphere, so if someone wants to switch it up from the normal grind to the strip, I had a lot of fun at El Cortez playing last night. Thanks a lot for everything you guys do. Love the podcast, and best of luck in the future. Bye-bye.
Yeah, El Cortez, on a recent episode of Vegas Confessions, they were talking about El Cortez, how they've got $3 craps and 10 times odds.
That's great.
Now, I don't know if the $3 table is 24/7. It might only be certain times, but that's great.
Yeah, if you got 10 times odds on a $3 table, that's awesome.
Yeah. Firebet at the Westgate. Again, the Firebet's pretty much gone from the Strip and downtown, but a place like Westgate, maybe some...
When was the last time we were at Westgate?
Mike, I think it was back when it was still Las Vegas Hilton.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's been how long
I think so too.
Because, it's the kind of place where you have to make an effort to go there.
Right.
Now, I know our friend Bill usually goes there for March Madness because they got a great sports book there.
Right.
But, we'd have to make a concerted effort to go over there, and there's no real reason to, these days. So it's been a while.
Did we see that Star Trek experience there?
Yeah, that's where that was.
I think that's
that might have been the last time we were there.
That was the last time we went to see that Star Trek experience thing.
I think that was it. That was it.
So that over-under bet's a real good bet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a 16.67% house edge, a terrible bet. A lot of times you will see it where the big 6 and 8 used to be. And when you think about it, how often do you see somebody betting big 6 or 8, right? Never. So maybe it's the same thing. It's like, oh, let's put another bet there that nobody will make and see what happens.
This is our designated no betting area.
That's right. What are you doing, sir?
Goofy
what are you doing?
Well, you know what's funny about that is it's not a very interesting bet.
It's not interesting. It's like, oh, shoot, I should have bet the under.
Yeah. Oh, it was a 6. I was close to 8.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I agree.
It's just not that interesting.
Do you switch back and forth? Do you make it every time? Yeah, I don't know. Just bet the field. That's a lower house edge, and it's more interesting.
Yeah, and it's more interesting, right? And you could hit a 2 or 12, so,
Yeah. All right, DJ has a Caesars Atlantic City trip report.
Hey there, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is DJ from New York. Just got back from a trip to Caesars in Atlantic City. Just wanted to give a little overview of what was a pretty good trip. First of all, I'm not really a high roller at all. Haven't actually been to a Total Rewards property in over a year, so don't have like a lot of leverage with comps or anything like that. However, I do like to just check the rate calendar on Total Rewards. I can't recommend that enough. Sometimes you do find a deal, and that's exactly what happened. Perhaps just after the holidays, it gets a little slower. And so that Saturday right after New Year's, I was able to get a comped room. So I took advantage of that, and it was great just to pay the resort fee and the tax and not have to worry about a several $100 rate. I stayed in the Centurion Tower, which was pretty nice. I did give the front desk $20. I know there's like back and forth discussion regarding that, whether to give, how you give, but I did ask for a corner room with a view, and they were pretty accommodating. Unfortunately, though, the room was nice, but there was no view. It faced the city, not the ocean. So I'm not totally sure if the $20 I gave was worth it, but just food for thought, I guess. It was my first time staying there, so I just wanted to walk around, just get a gist of the property. And I couldn't believe just walking around, just going to Wild Wild West, how much open space there was. I'm sure people who are, more familiar with the AC properties, like the guys over for Due for a Win, can speak more to this. But it was just crazy to see all this open floor space where you would, see slots or something. And they did have alternative games. I know you guys discussed that, some new slot machines that might be a little more skill-based. However, they kind of went a different route. They had like an air hockey table. They had a golden tee golf game, and they had beer pong. So just thought that was interesting how they were catering to, younger people that come stay and visit the property. Also, I thought was really nice was the Playground Mall. Great for the cold weather. They did a really nice job with it. You can, watch the sunset and just look at the beach. I'm not quite sure how well the shops are doing there, but I hope it works out because they really just did a good job building it. Restaurants are really nice, like Budokan and Continental. I haven't eaten there, but they just look nice walking past. And from other podcasts I've listened to, it seems like they're pretty good. With regard to craps, I played at a $10 table, and what I tried to do is just play a little larger than I was for my average daily theoretical. So I bought in for a little bit more. They did have a all tall, all small, make 'em all table bet, as well as other tables had the fire bet. So I thought that was interesting that they had both, just not all on the same table, but they were available. They also had 5 times odds for all the tables as well, instead of 3, 4, 5 odds. Played the don't for the first time just to see what it was like. Just wanted to kind of get used to playing that with making the correct bets, the right amount of chips for the odds, things like that. However, the table did empty out, so it was just myself and it was just me rolling. So I switched over to play just the pass line again, and it went pretty well. I had some really extended rolls, built up all the point numbers to 5 times odds, and had a couple of really nice rolls that made for a good session. What I really wanted to point out was how good the pit boss was there, perhaps for what I bought in for and just my continued play. When I did decide to color up, he did approach me and asked where I was having dinner. And then I told him, I was thinking about going over to Morton's, but they said they really couldn't do anything comp-wise for eating over there. So instead, I did get a $25 comp at Nero's, which is the Italian steakhouse, which is also really, really nice. Would definitely recommend it. I had a drink and an appetizer up there, and did end up going over to Morton's. Morton's is typical, expensive, a little uptight, but, the food is always very, very good and very consistent meal. So would also recommend that. I did watch some of the football over at Gordon Ramsay's pub. Pub over there was really nice. Bar was nice, very friendly. From the food I saw being served, it looked very good. So I think, if I were to go back, I'd probably check out Gordon Ramsay's for lunch or dinner. And just want to say thanks again for all that you guys do. Just highlighting the fact that I'm not a big-time player, but just understanding kind of how the casinos work, the ins and the outs, taking advantage of, the tips and advice that you guys give. It really made for a great experience. Thanks so much, and always look forward to the episodes. Take care, guys.
Good. Yeah, thanks for the report, DJ. Yeah. He sent a follow-up email, too. He just wanted to emphasize the fact that he went to this craps table, bought in for more than he really intended to play with, just to maybe see if that would get some attention. And it sounds like it worked for him. The pit boss came over, and so it worked out good. So anything he can do, especially in the short term like that, I
think years ago we did that a lot.
Mm-hmm, yeah, right. That's true.
When in our 20s, we would buy in for way more than we knew we were going to play at that table.
Yes, right.
And hoping that they'd think, and then, get us a meal or whatever. It's a good strategy.
It's not bad. And if things go really badly initially, let's say we're back in our 20s and we buy in at a table for $1,000, which is insane, right? There's no way we're going to, play. And we lose $100 real quickly. It's like, okay, well, let's just leave.
Yeah, well, and they don't think anything of that because they think, well, it's cold. He's smart.
Yeah, he's leaving. Or, if it's going okay and you're winning, you're like throwing around money like, okay, this guy. So it can help. Now, it's not always going to work, but it's certainly worth a try.
No, especially if you're looking for a meal or something, a comp or something. Yeah, because you buy in for $100. Seriously, they're not going to pay too much attention to you. No, that's true. Right?
Hey, I'll tell you, Mike, too, when you're at a craps table, if you buy in for $100, sometimes they won't even call that to the pit.
No, they'll just hand you.
Okay, 100,
they just hand you a stack of red.
Yeah, and they don't even, get the attention of the pit boss. No,
they don't have to because, it's not that significant.
Yeah.
Just aside real quick.
All right.
So DJ, we don't know what the D and the J stand for.
No, we don't.
We don't. I love that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I love that. Just because, it could be anything, right?
It could be.
My mom had a cousin.
All right.
His name was FD.
Okay.
Nobody knew what it stood for.
Never found out.
Never found out. My mom to this day does not know. It was her cousin, first cousin, and nobody knew, and the parents probably did.
I would hope.
Yeah, but he went by FD, and everyone, he just called me FD. I don't know.
That's weird because DJ, DJ, that kind of trips off the tongue. That's fine, but FD, that's awkward.
Well, Frank was my great-grandfather, so it's probably Frank something.
Okay.
But, Frank David, I don't know, but FD. Nobody knew. They just called him FD.
That's fair.
And my mom to this day, I said, well, I wished I knew what his name was.
Wow, that's great. That's good. All right, so when you call our voicemail hotline, you get a little recorded message from me where I say, thanks for calling our hotline. Leave a message under 3 minutes, and maybe we'll play your call on the show. Well, this next caller was not happy about that.
Oh.
What type of bullshit message? I'm trying to get some live advice. You guys need a number that scheduled with your guys' podcast. That'd be great if people were able to call in live and speak to you guys person to person rather than leaving a message. I had a question for you guys, actually. So I'll try to put some more thought into it and leave a 3-minute message. But yeah, just for future reference, that'd be great if you guys could do something like that. I think everybody would appreciate it and definitely know that you'd get a lot more calls in.
So he needed some live phone advice. I wonder if the advice he needed was, how do I deal with this contraption that's obviously crashing down around me?
No, I think he's doing dishes. It sounds like dishes
Maybe
to me.
Something like that.
I'll tell you what, though. Seriously, you do not need live advice, because Mark would always say, color up, take your winnings, and I would be telling you to parlay it. So that's all.
It's going to be conflicting advice anyway.
Yeah, it'd be terrible advice.
Yeah, the logistics behind actually having people call. Of course, we could do it if we really wanted to, but it would just be so difficult.
Well,
because
you'd have to answer the phone all the time.
Well, no, I'm not talking. Well, yeah, we certainly would never do that. Where it's like, every time it rings.
Word.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on, I got to start the recorder. But no, if we actually set aside some time, and it's like, okay, call in between these hours. Even so, we'd need like a switchboard or something, or we'd have to arrange for people to call at certain times. Or we could do like some live streaming, something like that. I just don't think there'd be enough of a call for it, to be honest. honest with you. You're probably better off just tracking us down at some casino somewhere.
Honestly, you should quit your job and you should just be live all the time with advice. People could be at a blackjack table. I've got 12.
That's right.
I've got 12. The dealer's got 3 up. What do I do?
That's a tough call. I'll just be staring at the phone all day long. I wonder if I'll get another call. Yeah. So it'd be nice, but I don't think this is. I don't think this is ever going to happen.
That might be. That's our best call ever.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I agree.
I'm thinking that's our best call ever.
I agree. All right. Let's hear from Kevin.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kevin from San Antonio. Great time at Vegas vacation. A little belated trip report. We stayed at the downtown Grand again, and they hooked us up. Only problem was the tables were cold the first night we got in. We got in a little bit before the festivities started. So we tried some other places downtown. It was just brutal. I mean, the D was dead. It was popping casino and no one at the table. It was that cold. So for maybe the first time ever, I went over to the dark side for the whole night after that, and it worked out pretty well. The table stayed cold. We had an entry into a blackjack tournament at the downtown Grand. The next day we kind of said, whatever. Let's go up to the pool, and had a lot of fun. We spent most of the day at the pool. Thank you, Vegas fanboy. Came back, we're walking back from the pool, said to my wife, hey, that was great. And she said, we should spend more time at the pool, And then we go upstairs, come downstairs, and start playing a little bit that evening. And all the dealers were like, hey, Kevin, did you win a lot of money? And I was like, what are you talking about, from last night? And I was like, yeah, all right. But they kind of shut up, and it happened a few times. And I was like, all right, what is going on? And they told me, oh, man, your name was being called all afternoon in the casino. So apparently I won a drawing for a late entry into the blackjack tournament, which, of course, I missed. And then I won a final entry into the final table of the blackjack tournament, which would have meant at least $1,000. And the high end was $50,000. So, wow, that was painful. But, it happens. A great time. We had a rental car this time, and for the first time checked out Green Valley Ranch and Red Rock. They're a pretty good drive. I didn't realize how far out some of those are. Nice places, pretty busy. I was kind of surprised. Angie got a spa at Green Valley Ranch, and she enjoyed it. And we saw Taylor over there and played some craps with him. Pretty hot table. I was on the good side again, thankfully, because I was one away from the all-all. Another guy was one away from the all-all, and pretty good time. I tried some of those bubble craps over there, and, man, that is a boring game. Overall, great time. Good to see you guys out there, and look forward to hopefully seeing you guys out there for the Nerd Society.
Yeah, so this is a message that Kevin actually recorded right after 360 Vegas Vacation 4.
Right.
And then he forgot about it, so he just recently sent it to us. So that's why it's so old. We've already been to the summit. So
well, you know what, Kevin, when it's going bad, he knows what to do. I throw the dice off the table.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Both of them. Just chuck them right off the end. Make it look like it's an accident,
he does
chuck
know
them
that.
right off.
That's right. You and he did that quite a bit at Golden Gate,
and
right?
That turns
and that
things
worked.
around. Yeah, that turns things around.
Yeah, I've got some more advice for Kevin. Don't go to the pool.
Yeah,
what are you thinking about? Yeah. The pool, that cost you some cash.
Cost him
serious cash. Yeah, 50. That's exactly what the EV on that was plus $50,000, and he blew it.
Send Angie to the pool. She'll enjoy it.
That's fine, sure. And
then Kevin hang out.
Then you at least walk around the casino just in case your name's announced. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Kevin sent us some more messages too. I'll put them together and we'll hear those on a future episode. So.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's hear about Laughlin from Tyler.
Hey there, fellas. This is Tyler from Tempe, Arizona. First-time caller here. Just calling to give you a little trip report. Meant to call you before I headed out over the weekend, but never got around to it. Anyways, went to Laughlin from Phoenix just for one night. Typically, I know what I'm in store for in Laughlin. Don't expect much, but, if you enjoy the usual drinking and gambling, it's not a bad quick trip, especially for a one-night casino vacation from Phoenix. Anyway, stayed at the Tropicana, which I usually do. They give me pretty good comp for a guy that doesn't stay there a whole lot north of money. So room is free, some other random kickbacks, a free blender amongst some free food and some other things. So that was pretty interesting, but really didn't end up gambling this. I was pretty disappointed with their blackjack tables. Everything was 6 to 5 from what I could see. And along with that, few dealers just weren't the nicest, kind of rude to my wife about sitting around the table with me while I was playing and some other things, so that was pretty disappointing. Also, they do not allow you to double down on anything besides a hard 10. I believe only a 10 or 11 is the only thing they'll allow you to double down on. They won't allow you to double down on any soft numbers, so I thought that was somewhat interesting. Played some craps there, as well as at the Colorado Bell, up and down. The night was pretty sluggish. I wouldn't say I just got killed, but really slow. Pie guy was slow, craps was slow. So money just kind of gradually dwindled, so I was down a couple $100 there, and anyways, my wife likes to dance over at the Golden Nugget, so I headed over that way. While we were waiting around, I went, saw a wide open Pai Gow table. Every other table in the place was packed, but Pai Gow was wide open. So I sit down, pretty buzzed at the time, and told the dealer, hey, just deal me one monster and I'm out of here. So put 15 or 20 bucks on the hand, 5 on the bonus. First hand comes out, hits straight flush right off the bat, so 50 to 1. And I told him I wasn't lying. I handed my chips, colored up, and I was out of there, tipped him, and I was gone. So pretty cool story. You guys mentioned you do play Pai Gow quite often. You guys have never talked a whole lot about whether or not you play the bonus or not. I'm assuming you don't. I have no idea what the house edge is on the bonus. But for me, really, that's what makes the game fun and interesting, trying to hit big hands and that sort of thing. So just curious if you guys do play the bonus and if you happen to know what the house edge might actually be on that bet. So appreciate you guys, and I'll be following up with you again when I head to my annual March Madness trip in Vegas where I go for 4 nights. So thanks again for all you guys do.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Well, it'll probably be no surprise to longtime listeners that I never make the side bet in Pai Gow poker.
And I always make the side bet in Pai Gow poker.
I certainly understand that being the most fun for some people.
Sure.
That, because, I get that big hand, because you can make a big hand in Pai Gow poker and push, right? Depending on what the dealer has. So that is good. Now, as far as what the house edge is, it's really going to depend on the side bet. There are a lot of different pay tables for these side bets in Pai Gow poker. Right. So I'll put a link to Wizard of Odds. He's got a list of a bunch of different ones, but it's really going to depend. And the house edge is going to be typically pretty bad, 5% or more. Sure. You might find some as low as 2% but
whatever it is, though, it's FOMO, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You and your dad always tease me when we're at a table, because I ultimately end up with the hand that would have paid 200 to 1 or whatever. Right. So no, I'm not. I don't worry about that. That doesn't bug me.
You don't have that fear.
I don't have that fear. Plus, every once in a while, I will make a side bet and I'll win. It's like, okay, that makes up for all the other times.
You're probably up your life for side bets.
Maybe,
actually.
That's true. I do it so rarely, and I hit them so often.
Every once in a while, you do hit one.
Now, 6 to 5 blackjack, and you can only double down on 10 and 11. Yeah. Oh my God, that's awful.
Right, and there's a spike on the chair.
Wow, that is tough. I can deal with the spike if it's 3 to 2.
Yeah, right. But, if it's 3 to 2, you can double down on anything, and Diller hits 18s.
That's right. It's like, well, hold on, let me just get situated. All right, let's play. We keep talking about how we'd love to go to Laughlin,
right?
But I don't know about. He said, it's good for gambling and drinking. That's fine, but boy, it sounded like there were some real downsides to his trip.
There's some good and bad things in Laughlin. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of old people, right?
Sure, well, that's fine. We're old,
right? It's a little more sedate, so that kind of fits into us. The drive there is scarier than hell.
The drive is not nearly as fun as driving to Vegas.
No,
you know what I don't like about it?
Scares me. It actually scares me.
Yeah, it's weird because you think you're closer to Laughlin than you are. And you see, isn't there like a big smokestack or something that you can kind of see in the distance? Right. Is that Laughlin? Is that a casino?
No.
Yeah, and it is kind of a windy. Yeah,
it's
it is a scary
road.
drive.
It's a scary drive.
Yeah, at least from now. I don't know. Coming from Phoenix, it's probably different.
It's probably better.
Yeah, because you're coming from the other direction. So, all right. Okay, we got a question from Joshua.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. My name's Joshua. I'm a listener from over in Michigan. Just with the Super Bowl coming up, I had a quick question. Where do you guys like to place your football gambling bets? Do you go in somewhere? Do you go online? Don't wager on sports too much, but I like to make a wager on the big game. I was wondering where you guys go to do it. Thank you so much. Love the show. Bye.
Yeah.
You know what? For many years, I made my sports bets at Mark's Casino.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I don't think I ever offered any sort of sports book.
I think I killed that casino.
Yeah, I seem to remember that going out of business if it ever did exist.
Yeah, I think the casino went out pretty quickly.
The funny thing is, Joshua, we basically bet wherever we are. It's like, oh, we got to bet on the game. Oh, here's a sports book.
It's always a last minute
thing. It is a last minute thing. Now, if it's a game that's going to go off and finish while we're still in town, then we try to do it maybe at the place we're staying,
right.
The hotel we're staying at. Yeah. But no, a lot of times it's whatever casino we're in. Oh my gosh, the game's going off in 15 minutes. Let's go bet it.
If the game ends while we're in town, I like to cash my ticket out.
Yeah.
So I want it to be somewhere close by.
Where you're going to be.
Because I have done that where it's not convenient to go cash my ticket because I bought it like downtown and we're back on the strip and then I send it in later and you wait and I just
and there are companies that run sports books at different casinos, so maybe you could get your ticket at one and cash it out at another. But yeah, it's basically wherever we are, and if it's a game that's going to finish once we've left the city, we don't care. We're going to have to mail it in anyway. So,
yeah. And, most of the time, you're not going to get much change from casino to casino.
Well, that's the thing. We really should shop around, and we never do because it's usually a last minute thing, and we're not serious sports bettors.
Right, and we're not betting enough money.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too.
And if I was betting larger sums of money on sports, then I would shop around.
Yeah, you do your homework.
Yeah, I do my homework. But, you're betting $50 or something. Yeah. It's like, $5.50. What difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference. This weekend made a lot of difference.
We'll find out soon. So sorry, not much of an answer for you, Joshua. Yeah, but it's just wherever we're at. All right, one last call. Ryan has some information about the high roller observation wheel.
Hey guys, this is Ryan from Las Vegas, Nevada. Just wanted to share something with you. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the Link out here, which is that huge Ferris wheel that's still pretty new. But now that I live out here, I saw that locals get 50% off of tickets. So I went out there the other night with my family and we were waiting in line and we ended up talking to the guy and he actually lived pretty close to us and he was like, wait, you guys are locals? He's like, I'm not going to make you pay full price. And he handed us 4 vouchers to go on it for free. So instead of paying the 50% off, we got to go on it for free. So, I guess it pays to be a local out here. So we went on the Link, and if you haven't been on it, for any of the listeners, it's an experience. It's pretty cool to see Las Vegas up that high. If you don't want to pay so much money to take a helicopter ride over Vegas, it's pretty cool to see you're up 550 feet in the air. It's pretty cool. Well, we were up, and one of the guys that was working in line told us that he was thinking of making a proposal to the people that work there about getting blackjack tables, baccarat tables, a roulette table in some of the carts. Now, you can be under the age of 21 and ride that, but there's also carts that have bars in them that you have to be 21 and older. So just like the cars that you have to be 21 and older to go in the bar, you'd have to be 21 and older to gamble in. But he said he made the proposal and now they're taking into consideration. I think it's kind of weird. People that are going to go on that, I think, are trying to get away from the gambling for a minute. And if you're going to pay that money to ride up there, I don't think you need to be gambling. But then yet again, if I were to go on it, I would probably want to gamble if the tables were in there. That's just the person I am. And I know you guys are the same way if there's a craps table in there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Who knows in the future? Not right now, but who knows? I don't know how they'll do it or when it'll come about, but maybe it'll happen one day. Well, hope you guys are doing good. Football playoffs are here. It's almost Super Bowl, so it's going to get crazy here in Vegas, but I don't have to pay for a hotel or anything. So anyways, hope you guys are doing good. Take it easy.
Really? Go ahead.
I was going to say, Ryan is a sports bettor, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
right. Remember he called in before several times about sports bets and stuff. So yeah, he'd be the guy to ask where to make
where's
sports
the good? Yeah, especially now that he lives there.
Right, exactly. He's probably got some places. Yeah. I can't ever see us going up on that.
We would never go on that unless they had gambling.
If they had a craps table on one, maybe we'd go, But even, it's like he said, though, you're going up there to look around and see everything, right? And if you're doing that, should you really be gambling? If drinking, you can hold the drink and look.
Yeah. If we were there with family, obviously, we'd go on and maybe watch. But the way that we are, our gambling time is so precious that it's almost like, okay, we'd have to. There's no way they'd have a craps table up there. I could see maybe blackjack, just card game, not even roulette.
No, we're not even roulette.
No, because it's
those roulette wheels are expensive.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to.
So I could just see simple tables, and then maybe we'd go on and play a hand, look out the window, play a hand, look out the window. So
eventually, they're just going to have all these different kinds of cars. So there's going to be a family one. There's going to be the drinking one, the gambling one, the pot one,
right? The stripper one,
yeah. The sex, one, or it's like some group thing.
Yeah.
It eventually they'll have it all.
Okay, yeah. They'll figure out how to make some serious money on that.
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That thing's going to pay off big time.
So we have started to make plans for our April trip to Connecticut. It is going to be the weekend of April 20th. That's a Friday. We are going to be arriving Thursday night, April 19th, and leaving on Monday morning, April 23rd. I think we're going to be staying at Foxwoods, but we haven't made any other arrangements. Now, Cousin Vito and Doug, a.k.a. Epic Vegas, and Eric Rosenthal, they're making some plans behind this too. I think the current name for this event is Gamble Palooza. That could change too. But anyway, I know some people have been asking, when are we heading out there? So right now, again, we do have our flight reservations in. So we're getting there Thursday night, April 19th, staying through Monday morning, April 23rd. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've called Foxwoods already and asked for extra security.
Oh, I thought you were going to say extra towels.
Extra towels. I need lots of towels.
Yeah, ahead of time.
Sir? No, we need security for all the masses of people on the East Coast who will be coming to Foxwoods that weekend.
That'll be good.
Us.
And of course, we're going to be spending a lot of time at Mohegan Sun too. It's just, at first I was thinking, maybe we'll stay at one place and the other, but let's just stay at one place. That way, if we have comps, it's a little bit easier, and then we're not having to move rooms. Right. And obviously, we're going to be going between the two places
as long as they can provide enough towels and pillows.
Yeah,
you know how much I love extra pillows.
I know you love having those extra pillows. What are you going to do without them? All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian, thank you very much. He contributes very often, so we really do appreciate that. Also, Tom made a sports wager for us. He asked, well, what would you like me to bet on for you? And Mike,
the four playoff games, the four divisional
playoff games. And of course, Mike, you have been really rooting for Minnesota.
Correct.
So you asked him to bet Minnesota, and the point spread was anywhere between -4 to -5.5, something like that.
Right. It closed at -5.5 at most places.
It turns out that Tom was able to make the wager at -5.
Right.
And of course, Minnesota, if anybody who watched that game, that incredible finish to the game with a touchdown with 0 seconds left, they ended up winning by exactly 5 because they didn't kick the extra point. They didn't need to. And, it took so long to get all the teams, back on the field and everything. So it was exactly 5 points. So it was a push. Tom just sent us the amount that he put down on the wager.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks for betting it, actually, because it made that game a little more enjoyable for me, because I'm sitting at home and thinking, come on, Minnesota, come on. And when it got to the end, I turned to my wife, and we're big Vikings fans, and I said, no, it's not looking good. I said, and at this point, I figured the bet's lost, but I'm thinking we can still get a field goal. If he can catch a long pass, step out of bounds with maybe a second left, we can kick a field goal and win.
Yeah. You and I had texted before that when New Orleans was about to kick a field goal to take the lead. I was texting you back and forth, well, our only hope is for him to miss.
Right.
Otherwise, the game's over. So, just an incredible finish.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I don't know what that defender was thinking.
I know.
My gosh.
He
came up with some excuses afterwards, which are bogus. He just made a bonehead play.
That's what it comes down to.
To give credit to the receiver, he caught the ball and had the presence of mind to stay balanced. Enough that he could run. Yeah. And when he started running, I'm like turning to my wife and yelling at her, what is he doing? Get out of bounds. What is he doing?
That's true, because if he didn't score, the time's over.
Because I couldn't see that there was nobody in front of him. He just walked into the end zone.
Yeah. Well, very exciting. Thank you for that bet, Tom. Oh, and Tom also says go Eagles.
No Eagles. I don't mind the Eagles, and if they weren't playing the Vikings, I might even be rooting for them. But no, it's the Vikings.
He also said, sorry, Dr. Mike. But I bet he's not that sorry.
No, probably not. You know what it is, though? Seriously, that's going to be a great game, and here's why. Because both of those teams feel like it's their destiny to be in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Seriously, Minnesota thinks, we had a great year and it's in Minnesota.
Yeah, it'll be the
this
first
is our
time ever,
destiny.
yeah.
Philadelphia had the best record, and they've kind of been put down. I mean, they weren't even favored in the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we'll show them all. We'll show them
Sure.
all. We're still good, even with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, that game I think is going to be very close, but Minnesota's got that great defense.
Well, it's going to be very exciting. And when we record our next episode, we will know who's in the Super Bowl. So we'll talk about that next show.
Take Minnesota and give the points.
Okay.
They're going to be favored against New England.
They're going to be favored?
They're going to be favored in the Super Bowl against New England. Here's my prediction.
You're drunk. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. No one will answer. You'll have to leave a recorded message. Or you can just email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. All right, Dr. Mike, this is your time to shine.
Yeah, I don't know how shiny I'm going to get.
All right.
I'll tell you what, though, seriously now, for everyone out there who follows you on Twitter, this weekend, I want a big stack. And I want to win, too.
Let's have both.
Let's have both.
Right.
It's kind of depressing. I drive in home. I mean, I'm happy for the dealers, and I don't at all regret making
No, of course not.
those bets.
No.
But I just would like to go home a winner.
I know, and the dealers felt so bad, too, Mike. I mean, they felt so bad. Not bad enough to give you the money back,
Yeah,
of course.
they kept joking about it. Should we pull it out? Should we pull it out? Yeah. Yes, pull it out.
Yeah, let's have a good one. Let's have a good one this week. I'll tweet out. I'll only tweet if it's a good week.
All right. Yeah, so expect a lot of tweets from Mark.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.